Welcome back in here on WQAM. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Dan Day along here with you. And it is time to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood Hotline Shop. Over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, ToyotaofHollywood.com, where we are joined by our friend Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel. He's the Dolphins columnist. Perk, I say good morning to you, my friend. And I got to start with the Kane stuff, Perk. I'll let Omar get into the Dolphins stuff and whatever coaching candidates they're looking at here. But more importantly, Perk, we got a football game coming up on Monday, and I know you've been in covering sports down here forever. It feels really good to have this game here in South Florida and have the Hurricanes back on top. What have you thought about the Canes' run here?
Oh, man, I love it. I love the way that the defense makes plays with Bain and Mesidor and Scott. Carson Beck gets all of the pub, and that's going to be the same thing for Indiana. That Fernando Mendoza gets all the pub. This is two good defenses, two of the top defenses in the nation going at it. I love the storyline of the Canes playing at home, Mendoza coming back home here to play, but I'm going Canes here. Now, I'm going for the Canes. I want to see a national title come back here. And look, we will be football town USA, considering that Inter Miami won a football title, right? We can get the Canes to win a football title. So we will be football town USA after the Canes win.
And Dolphins are right around the corner, right, Perk?
Oh, yeah, that's coming. I'm thinking 2028 is the Dolphins year. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, 2028. I do want to get your perspective on the new GM, John Eric Sullivan, former Green Bay Packers executive, was hired by the Miami Dolphins. We're not getting a press conference because we're in the process of hiring a coach, and we're just going to do it all together, Perk, and show everybody that we're one big happy family and we're no longer dysfunctional. What were your impressions of John Eric Sullivan's hiring and selection?
I like it, because he comes from a good organization, being Green Bay, coming up through the scouting ranks and all that kind of stuff. I guess all of them did that, all of the candidates to some extent, and pretty much every GM candidate does to some extent, pretty much, unless, you're a player like John Lynch or something like that. But, I really like what they've done with this hire as far as, just somebody from a good organization. So we'll see about the rest. It's so hard to know with the GM candidate. GM is strange, because you pretty much only get one bite at the apple. It's a one and done job for whatever reason in this league. Now, there's a few people, Mike Tannenbaum did the Jets and the Dolphins, and Scott Pioli did New England and Kansas City. But it's pretty much a one and done job. And so it's hard to know about these guys for the most part when they first take over. So we'll see, but I'm on board with it at this point. Definitely.
Now, we've got a list of 6 candidates right now. Everybody knows John Harbaugh is the big fish out there. I personally do not believe that the Dolphins are in the running for the John Harbaugh sweepstakes. But then you got Kevin Stefanski, Robert Saleh, young Chris Shula, grandson of Don Shula, Clint Kubiak, the son of Gary Kubiak, and then Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator with the Green Bay Packers. Anybody on this list, Perk, stand out to you as somebody that you absolutely must have?
Obviously, John Harbaugh. And what I wrote about John Eric Sullivan, the first thing that this place needs is an attitude adjustment throughout the entire organization. The 2023 season to me is kind of the litmus test, right? If you tell Steve Ross that was a good season, get the hell out of my office. We have nothing to talk about. That was a disappointing season, and that's the attitude that needs to be permeating throughout the Dolphins. 2023 was not nearly good enough. There shouldn't have been the celebrations over the number one offense and the contract extension. I want a coach and a GM who gets this organization thinking the right way. You've got to think like the Florida Panthers or the Miami Heat. Number one is all we care about. We want to win a title. Forget all this other crap. Get me a title. That's what I want the coach and the GM to bring more than anything. And I know that Harbaugh brings that. The other guys, I do like, that they have a lot of guys with defensive backgrounds that they're looking at. Now, I don't agree with you had an offensive coach last time, go for the defensive coach, or you had a disciplinarian last time, so now get a player's coach. I don't agree with that. I agree with the attitude, and I think the defensive coaches will bring the attitude that I want to see in that organization.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Perk, in terms of I need an alpha male. And if I thought back on this recently, the majority of the coaches that I know that have that alpha male persona, they're the defensive coaches. I can name you one offensive coach that had an alpha male persona that we've come across over the years. Not one. Maybe Dan Henning.
I think Adam Gase was close, but he wasn't like Flo. He wasn't like Vance Joseph.
No.
I'll tell you that.
I don't think Adam Gase was close. And here's the reason why. I actually wrote a column in the Miami Herald telling people the traits from all of Steve Ross's failed hirings, what you should get from some of them. Like, for instance, I know he didn't hire Tony Sparano, but man, that guy, his players would run through a wall for Sparano. Sparano had that machismo, gangster, mobster mentality. And remember the season where if you made a mistake in a game, you probably were getting whacked on Tuesday. Yeah. That was the whole aura of that team. It's like you got to watch your back because you could get whacked. For Mike, and I know we're gonna get into this a little bit later. With your Club Mike reference, which I totally object with.
My goodness.
Mike was an offensive innovator. Mike had style. Mike's players played hard for him because he took care of them. Like if you needed 1,000 yards, Mike was going to get you 1,000 yards. That's who Mike McDaniel was. Now, was everything ideal? No. Could Mike, discipline anybody? No. But come on, Club Mike.
Yeah, Club Mike. And look, and like I said in my column, that's a Dave Hyde term. I can't take credit for it. But no more Club Mike. No, I want to see them running some wind sprints after training camp practice.
They did that. They volunteered. The players voluntarily did that. Look at that. See, that's how Mike. That's how Mike gets in your brain. Mike makes you.
Yeah. Okay.
It makes you volunteer to do that.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Look, I always have to put this disclaimer in because it's because of how society is now. I like Mike McDaniel. I respect Mike McDaniel. But that offensive innovation stuff, okay, that's good. You're not winning games against good teams. I don't give a damn about the jet sweep and pre-snap motion and all. Win me some games
the jumbo
against
package.
Good teams.
He beat the Buffalo Bills with the jumbo package.
Okay, so he gets one victory against Buffalo. So, I mean, look, and I'm not discrediting that. That was the best win of the year by far, but you still went, 1-6 against playoff teams this year, 5-22 against playoff teams in 4 seasons. All of that stuff is just eye candy. Get me some victories, and it starts with a change of attitude. Club Mike must be shut down. No more Disneyland. This is a football.
Oh, you got to bring up the Disneyland visit? Hold on, wait a minute. You got to bring up the Disneyland visit? You are hitting low right now, Perk. Yes, Mike McDaniel was at Disneyland this week wearing a Gucci outfit.
The picture he took on the carousel, the coaching carousel. I thought that was very funny.
I mean, I just got fired. My kid's probably a little depressed. I'm taking her to Disneyland. Daddy just got fired. Let's go to Disneyland. That makes everything better.
He's very rich now, by the way, because they had to pay him a lot of money to go away.
He's always been rich.
He can afford that VIP experience at Disney just fine.
And Mike McDaniel's wardrobe every day was about $8,000. Trust me.
Exactly.
Mike's always got money. And that Gucci outfit he had on, woo, that thing was fire. I'm not even going to deny that.
You know what? That's not my style, but I don't mind that being Mike's style. Just get me some victories against good teams. Get me some playoff wins. I don't care if he shops wherever. It's about winning. It's not about the outfit and being a player's friend and all that kind of stuff. That locker room was so chill.
Player's friend. You really went there, player's friend. Like, come on, Perk.
So, but here's the question then, Perk. If all these things are true about Mike, why are all these teams seemingly lining up to interview him? Apparently, he's going to interview this week for the Browns, Falcons, Titans, and Ravens jobs, and he's also got a Lions interview for OC. Like, all these teams are lining up to interview this guy, which I'm with you, Perk. I think that there was more than just an X's and O's. This was a culture issue that you were dealing with down here. Does this just all of a sudden go away? Like, all these teams are interviewing him. I don't get it.
Hollywood, I think that the thought out there is Mike McDaniel is going to be a better coach his second time around than he was his first time, because he's going to learn, because this stuff should be obvious to Mike now. And when you were here, I think it was an environment where people weren't really comfortable speaking up and saying, hey, Mike, this is not working. He lost his job because it didn't work. That should be clear to him. So I think that the thinking around the league is Mike has made a mistake or two. He will get that corrected. He will be aware of it. He will be a better coach. Because if Mike gets the culture stuff cleared up, he is a good coach. He's a better coach. I guess you could say he's a good coach. I still need to see him beat some playoff teams, but he's a better coach. So I don't have a big problem with teams interviewing him, because you would think he's going to correct whatever got him fired here in Miami.
Man, listen, Perk, the thought that Mike can get tough on players, I know that's a little bit unrealistic, but I object to the club, Mike. They worked hard. They fought for Mike. They rallied back. I would argue to you, Mike, I know you have feelings about Brian Flores and how Brian Flores did more with less, but I'd argue to you, Mike shouldn't have any shame about what he did and what he accomplished here.
Ooh, boy, come on. Oh, you were a 500 coach. So here's what you're telling me. To get to 500 in this organization, you need Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, Armstead, Calais Campbell, Rob Hunt, Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, Jalen Ramsey, Vic Fangio. You need all of that.
A lot of those guys were hurt.
That's what you're telling me.
A lot of those guys were hurt.
I don't want to hear all that mess.
A lot of those guys were hurt.
They weren't hurt early in the season. They weren't hurt again for that 48-20 Buffalo loss, were they? No. Yeah, they weren't hurt for the Kansas City loss in 2023. They weren't hurt for the Philly loss in 2023. The regular season losses. They were hurt for Baltimore, but by then it was over. Well, it wasn't over.
You keep bringing up old stuff, Perk. You keep bringing up old stuff.
Okay.
Listen, they beat Buffalo.
Game this year.
They beat Buffalo 30-13. Listen, Pittsburgh, the quarterback's arm fell apart. What you want him to do? He finally benched him. What did you want him to develop
a better backup quarterback? That's another thing. He never developed a good backup quarterback. You have Skylar Thompson here for 3 years. He goes in against Cincinnati, and he's a train wreck. Like, what were you doing with this guy? You never developed a backup quarterback. You get Zach Wilson as a direct calculated target. He's so bad, the 7th round rookie takes over for him. Come on. Let's get real about the results here. Again, I'm not trying to trash Mike. This is a results-based business, and he didn't deliver the results. The talent was always better than the result of this team.
Perk, you can trash anyone you want, by the way. They deserve it over there.
I honestly don't want to trash Mike. I genuinely like and respect Mike. He just did the job.
I think everyone. I don't think he was. I don't think anyone would say that Mike was a bad guy, that they didn't like him. I'm with you that it's a results oriented business. And at that, Perk, I will leave you on this one. Who do you think ends up eventually getting this job here with the Dolphins? And would the next order of business be finding a way to send Tua very far out of this town?
I wouldn't put it like that, Hollywood, but yeah, that's going to be
he's going to be really far, like no Tampa, no Jackson. Like, it's got to be like no Atlanta. Like, he's got to be really far away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
a lot of my life fighting with people over Tua. I'm done, Perk.
You want to swap him for Geno Smith?
I don't care where he goes.
Kyler Murray
here.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think they're going to get Harbaugh. Maybe they get Halfley. Maybe if LaFleur shakes free, they get him. Maybe they follow the Green Bay tree, right, with John Eric Sullivan. I'm kind of like Omar. I don't really have a choice. If it's not Harbaugh, just get the guy who's going to bring the right attitude. Robert Saleh brings some attitude with him, right? We saw him get into it with Liam Cohen after that Jacksonville game. Just get a guy who's going to bring the attitude. That is so important to me, that you get the attitude right, and then the talent and all the rest of that stuff will fall in place, and it will max out.
Perk, we appreciate the time. Thank you. I don't know how much we got accomplished here, but thank you very much. And we'll talk to you, all right?
Omar, there's not a lot accomplished, but we have fun doing it. So yeah.
Round 3, baby. Round 4 coming next.
All right, let's do it. All right, guys, we'll talk later.
All right, that was Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel. Omar Kelly from the Miami Herald is with us. This Dolphin stuff, man, it just feels like it's not even the time to talk about it, because the Canes are getting ready to play for a national championship. But we got to do it. The NFL had a big wild card weekend as well. We didn't get a chance to get to that with Perk, but Omar, we can discuss some of those games and some of your takeaways from those when we come back. So a lot more to come here on WQAM.